Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Great episode, but before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest essential Kapımı episodes, say what I like, what I didn't like, what I think might happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, like, comment, share, but most importantly subscribe so we can meet on a weekly basis. I just wanted to remind you that from last week's review onward, I'm commenting or just sharing my thoughts on the trailers that I'm not discussing in the video itself. So just check back and see what I have to say about the trailers, and maybe I'll have some new predictions. So as always, let's start off with the side storylines before we get into the Eda and Serkan storyline. So first we have Erdem. Nothing major happened, just that he was trying to make a move on Fifi when they were on the skating ring. He faked falling just to hold on to Fifi, and Fifi kind of caught him, but then she got angry and kind of saw that he's actually quite a good skater, and yeah, nothing major happened. Then we have the Ferit and Ceren storyline. We only saw that Ferit confessed his feelings to Ceren, told her that he loves her and that he tries to regain her trust and promises her that he won't hurt her again. She's kind of apprehensive to really tell him that she also has feelings for him. I mean, she did tell him that she's also thinking about him all the time, because he started the conversation telling her that when he wakes up and when he goes to sleep, she's on his mind, and she said that's for her as well, that he is on her mind. But Celine is still creeping in, and that's kind of what is holding her back. And that's when he confessed his feelings, and she really liked that, and I thought it was so adorable. And I love that Ferit kind of changed his character. Then we have Pırıl and Engin, just them kind of discussing marriage, wedding. He is really focused on planning the wedding, on the guest list, and also on meeting her parents. And then she kind of gives in and talks to her father, but that scene was really weird. And I really want to know what kind of a family she has, because she was waiting on kind of a helipad, and then suddenly two cars appeared, and we only saw, did we see a finger? I think we saw a finger like pushing on the button so that the window came down, and she was standing there kind of hiding her engagement ring and then telling her father that she's getting married. But we didn't really see his face. We didn't see his face at all. So I'm really interested where this story is going to go. Then we have the Aydan, Ayfer, Seyfi storyline, kind of with a little bit of Fifi sprinkled in. So Fifi is still Ayfer's communication tool, kind of, with Alexander. And because it's Ayfer's birthday, he gives her a knife. Or did he for her birthday? I don't think so. I think it was like a thank you for the recipe or something like that, and that it kind of overlapped with her birthday, and she got a package and she thought it was from Chef Alexander, but it was actually from her mother, because the card said it's going to be the last birthday we didn't celebrate together or something like that. That's when she loses it and then uses the knife to cut up all the sweets and the whole package she got from her mother. Aydan is still trying to kind of convince Ayfer to be on her side, to bring Eda and Serkan back together, but Ayfer is telling her, so Aydan, we don't want to have any connections with you because Eda will quit her job really soon, and I don't want to have any more ties with you, because Aydan is desperately trying to convince Ayfer to work for her for the high society club, and even bribes her with Chef Alexander, telling her that he wants to meet her and he's already working for the high society club or something like that. But then in the end, Ayfer finds out the truth, that Aydan actually lied, and she even confronts Aydan on the skating ring, and then Aydan and Seyfi are trying to escape. It was just hilarious because they can't really escape. They were moving so slowly. It was just such a mess, but hilarious at the same time. Is there anything else? Well, we can say that it was kind of a side storyline when Eda told the girls that she found their earring, which I'm going to talk later about. The girls are kind of like, okay, we need to spy on Balcha, we need to see what's going on. So Melek is kind of stalking her social media, finding out where her friend lives or where she lives. So she goes with Fifi. Fifi is actually entering, playing a persona, and they start talking kind of, and she finds out that Susie is a part-time psychologist. She's just giving advice, and Melek was so disappointed disappointed that she didn't get advice as well when she goes with Balcha to get her a taxi because she broke her heel, which I'm also going to talk later about. Melek is actually following Balcha and Balcha is meeting up with Susie, so they talk. Balcha sees Melek. Melek was the worst spy ever. So Susie and Balcha are faking a conversation saying that, oh my god, because of your ex-boyfriend and you're still heartbroken, blah blah blah. So that's what Melek actually hears, tells it to Eda and Jagan. So Eda is like, okay, so I was mistaken. Maybe she's just being nice towards Serkan. And that's what she's then telling Serkan, which I'm also going to talk later about. But I do think that we can now move on to the Eda and Serkan storyline, because other than that, nothing really happened. So yeah, let's move on to the Eda and Serkan storyline. So we continue right after Balcha's hello. Eda is really shocked. Serkan is really surprised to see Eda. Then Balcha is telling Eda, welcome. Did you go to the cinema or something? And I was like, oh my god, like this is ending really bad. Then Eda was kind of sarcastic but still playing along that she was actually at the cinema and just wanted to stop by, say hello to Serkan. But then Eda is like, hello Serkan, bye. Serkan wants to go. Serkan goes after her. As soon as Serkan moves away from Balcha, she's actually grabbing her ear, and I was like, girl, she's already on the move. She already wants to take out her earring and plant it somewhere, and that's exactly what she did. So while Eda and Serkan were having a discussion, Serkan desperately explaining to Eda the situation, that it was actually just work and she shouldn't think of something else. Eda is like, no, she likes you, blah blah blah, this is her move. Balcha is planting that earring behind the pillows. Then she goes, even tells Eda, I believe, well, we should go to the movies together sometime, blah blah blah. Then goes. So Serkan is re-inviting Eda in, tells her, I'm inviting you in, so now we can start all over and I'm going to kiss you now. I thought, oh my god, Serkan, you're not really doing this, because she was already so angry, so frustrated with him, and he wants to kiss her. I was like, no, wrong time. I like where this is going, but you should be a better judge of the situation, because in that moment you weren't. That's when Eda starts questioning him. How does Balcha knows where he lives even after a couple of days of work? Then he tells her, well, maybe from the office and she just wanted to work, blah blah blah. Eda getting even more frustrated with Serkan that he's so oblivious to Balcha's moves towards him. And then she actually finds the earring and he's like, well, it could have dropped, blah blah blah. So still believing Balcha that she has good intentions, that she just wanted to work, but Eda having that feminine suspicion. I was like, girl, I'm on your side. This was planted. I mean, I did see her planted there, but still I would have been as suspicious as Eda was in such a situation. So when Balcha is outside, she calls her friend Susie, tells her that, oh my god, I will come back here because I want to retrieve the earring that I left here, so Serkan will see me more and more, blah blah blah. And I was like, girl. Then Serkan starts lighting the candles. Eda is really confused. Why does he have candles? He said that ever since he knew that she will surprise him sometime in the future, he was prepared for that moment. And I thought it was just so adorable. Even she was slightly affected by that statement. And then him being like, okay, come on, let's eat pizza. And she's like, no, you're only eating popcorn. He's really worried that he will get sick. And that's actually when she finds the ring. And then he's like, oh, I see where you're going, after she gets quite angry, telling him that Balcha planted the earring there. He's like, oh, you're jealous, blah blah blah. She's downplaying it because obviously she's jealous. She's like, no, you're just oblivious, I'm not jealous of anything, blah blah blah. And she's so fed up with this whole situation that she just goes and tells him that she will give Balcha the earring back personally. And after Eda left, Serkan started talking to Sirius that he has everything under control, that that's his strategy, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, you don't have any strategy. This is just chaos for you. Then the next day at the company, Balcha is going to Eda to talk about some PR strategy and Serkan's notes or something like that. They kind of start talking about Serkan, that he's very demanding, but then Balcha is like, yes, but I like that and that's why we get along. And I was like, what? Oh, and that's when Balcha is kind of digging deeper and asking Eda about their relationship, kind of telling Eda that by the looks that she saw between Eda and Serkan, she saw that there's something not in order between them. After that, Eda is telling her that their relationship is complicated at the moment, and then Balcha is like, well, are you together or not? So Eda is telling her we're not together, and Balcha really likes that because it's kind of a free way for her, and Eda still doesn't really know why she wants to know that, but then Balcha is like, well, I need to know everything so I can control the media. And then Eda gives Balcha the earring back, and Balcha is really shocked when she sees that Eda actually has their earring, and Melek was also there the whole time. Then we have this conversation between Eda and Melek kind of digging at Balcha, and then them all three kind of having a sarcastic conversation. Then after that, Balcha is actually going to Serkan, suggesting to him, because they have this new project coming up or something like that, that he needs to do an interview. She also tells him that the questions will be about their new projects and not about his relationship because it's complicated, and Serkan is really confused, and she's like, well, Eda just told me that it's complicated between you two and you're not in a relationship, and Serkan is not really happy hearing that from Balcha. Then we have Eda going to Serkan, asking him if he didn't feel sick because of the popcorn, and then he's like, no, let's try this again. I'm even using my second wish for this redo of this movie night. And she's like, no, you can't wish for that. And he's very confused, and she's like, well, after last night's move, I froze your wishes because Balcha is interested in you, and he's not having it because he only sees her as a work colleague and somebody who does her job. But Eda sees that Balcha is actually interested in Serkan, so they make a bet. So if Eda can prove to Serkan that Balcha is actually interested in him, he won't pursue her anymore, and if Serkan wins, they will have dinner in Paris together. Then after that, Serkan kind of wants to calm the waters between them three, so he wants to dine with them. And when they're there, it was so awkward because Eda was kind of asking quite risky questions. Every time Balcha had kind of answers that were targeted towards Serkan or kind of should show Serkan that she was like-minded, Eda kept hitting Serkan's leg with her leg. It was just hilarious to watch this whole scene unfold. Eda not liking Balcha's answers. She even dropped a spoon, and because Serkan is such a gentleman, he also got down and they had a little fight, a little conversation, and she's like, oh my god, are you so blind? She even gives the same answer as you, blah blah blah, and he's not having it. He's like, well, it's just a coincidence, blah blah blah. So he's not really believing Eda's suspicions. So a little bit later, Serkan is telling Balcha that he wants to have a private conversation with Eda, because before that, Efe actually called Eda and she said, I will call you later from the office. What he's actually telling her later is to prepare the house for the new partner, for the old lady actually, but I'm going to talk about that later. So anyways, Serkan doesn't like that Efe is actually calling Eda, but later we find out that Serkan is actually constantly calling Efe, but Efe is not picking up, but at the same time constantly calling Eda, so it doesn't really make sense. Anyways, Eda wants Serkan to finally admit that she was right all along about Balcha, but he's like, no, I'm not doing that because I'm not 100% sure. And then Eda tells him, well, the most important thing is how you react to her moves. So I'm like, finally girl, you understood this whole scheme. You only have to trust Serkan. He's the main focus. When he does a wrong move, you can get angry, but if Balcha is doing a move on Serkan and he's not reacting, like, why should you get angry at him? So I was really happy that she finally understood that. So because Balcha saw that there's still a connection between Eda and Serkan, she is kind of whining and complaining to her friend. Her friend tells her, well, you need to break that trust between them because love and friendship and relationship, whatever, is built on trust, and if you're able to break that trust, there's nothing left between them. So because they have kind of a problem with the landscape design, tenant, tender, whatever, they have to find a new company they can work with. So then they all go to Serkan's place. Balcha is doing her moves on Serkan. Ceren and Eda are watching. Serkan is near Eda, kind of looking over her shoulder which company she's actually choosing, because she's in charge of choosing the company that they will work together with. Balcha sees that Serkan is quite close to Eda, so she calls him, tells him, can you come because it's really urgent, because Serkan actually went to Eda with a cup of coffee, and then he takes both mugs and goes to Balcha, and Eda is like, what? You give me coffee but at the same time you take it back with you, or something like that. Then she goes to Serkan, quite sensual, and takes his mug, and then Balcha is like, well, isn't that your mug? I can make you a new coffee. And I was like, girl, like, you're Serkan, how can you be that oblivious? But anyways, Eda finds a company, and then a person from Art Life is actually researching that company and puts the folder on Eda's desk. Balcha hears that, goes through the documents, finds out that that company is actually charged for financial fraud or something like that, but takes the crucial information out of the folder. Eda only sees the good things. Eda wants to go and show it to Serkan, or be like, well, I looked at everything, they look good, we should do that. Serkan is like, okay, let me see. She then gets really frustrated that he doesn't trust her, and because he wants to keep up this peace between them, he's like, okay, I won't look, I trust you, you can tell Ferit that he should organize a meeting and we can start our partnership. When Balcha goes to Serkan and wants to talk about the interview or something like that, before she actually starts talking about the interview, she's asking about the folder, about the company, about the partnership between the companies, and he's like, well, I trust Eda, I didn't need to look over it. So she was really shocked that Serkan didn't look through the folder, because then he might have noticed that a page was missing. So she was really my plan didn't work out. So when she's showing Serkan all the locations where the interview can be held, she's very, very close to him, and Eda is actually seeing that. And when Serkan is telling Eda that he needs to go to do the interview with Balcha, she doesn't like that because it's outside. And can we talk a little bit about the interview? I mean, what was that? She only asked him, do you feel the pressure that now Optikin is not like the head of the company anymore and you have to do all the work? And then asks him about the partnership, and then she's like, well, let's move on to the shoot. And I was like, what kind of an interview is that? I've never heard or seen such a short interview. But anyways, this was just embarrassing, because they could have made a small montage of him just talking to that woman, so that we can see that they're talking about more things like they did with the wedding interview. That was an interview, not this. This was just a small Q&A. But anyways, after that, Balcha wants to do a selfie because she wants to remember this moment, and I was like, oh my god, she's going to post it, Melek is going to see it. And that's what happened. She actually posted the picture, Melek saw it, Melek showed it to Eda, because while Serkan was doing the interview, Eda was actually at the house. She needs to prepare for the new partner, so the old lady. But before she goes there, she actually needs the keys for the flower shop because she wants to put some fresh flowers there. She then witnesses that the old lady actually called Ayfer. Ayfer got really, really angry because that day was her birthday. Eda takes the phone, gets really angry at the old lady, tells her, just leave us alone, we don't want to have contact with you, blah blah blah. Gets really angry anyways. She goes to the flower shop, does the flowers, goes to that house with Melek, opens up the windows, puts the flowers there. Melek is really, really nosy, looking everywhere, and then she actually tries to go into a room, but that room is locked up. And then we see the room from the inside with a lot of pictures, paintings, dolls. And I was like, oh my god, are these the things that Eda played with when she was little? Or maybe it's Ayfer stuff. But those pictures, I do think that they showed Eda's family, so her parents and herself, when she was little. So I was like, oh my god, this is getting intense. Melek, please don't go inside. But Eda is actually stopping her from going inside because she couldn't even go there because the keys didn't really fit. They go outside, and then suddenly we see the old lady, and I was really confused where the old lady was, but she was actually spying on Eda and Melek. And that's when Melek showed Eda the picture of Balcha and Serkan. So that's when they decide to also go there to spy on Serkan and Balcha. And when they passed the car, I was like, oh my god, she's going to see the old lady. But the old lady was already in the car and the door was almost closed, and I was like, oh my god, that tension is killing me. So then Melek and Eda see that Balcha is faking or on purpose breaking her heel. The gentleman that Serkan is, he helps her sit down, blah blah blah. Eda and Melek come in, they talk a little bit, and then Melek takes Balcha away to get a taxi. That's when Serkan and Eda are there alone. Serkan gets Eda some coffee, then they're sitting together, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. They're really close, they're on their own. And then Eda starts talking that, can't you see that she's so interested in you? And Serkan is like, well, I need to be 100% sure, and I still don't believe it. And then Eda asks him, what else needs to happen for you to be convinced? And then he starts being really smooth and telling her that when the girl looks at me, actually before that, he pulls her close, and I was like, called Serkan. So he then tells her that when the girl is looking at him, I have to melt, and then I'll have to watch her look away. And that's what Eda actually did in that moment. So I have to watch her look away while trying not to show that she's affected, and then I'll have to see her heart beat faster while trying to stay calm, and I need to feel her love in every cell of her body. And I was like, oh my god, Serkan, what? And that's love for him. And Eda was so affected, she didn't know what to do. So in order to regain her control, she pushed away from him. And then he tells her that he would stay like this for a very long time, the whole day, just drinking coffee and talk to her. And she's not really buying it, because Serkan Polat would just work. And he's like, well, that's the old one. The new one wants to enjoy life, especially when the woman he loves is sitting in front of him. And I was like, oh my god, Serkan, what is up with you? So after that, Eda is really flustered and just goes away. Then we see the girls talking, so Melek giving Eda the information that Balcha is still heartbroken because of her ex-boyfriend, and that's what her friend Susie told Melek, blah blah blah. And that's when Eda is like, what, really? Was I really that wrong? Susie actually sent Balcha chocolates and flowers just to fake that old boyfriend, and she gets it and sees that Eda is coming, so she fakes cries that she's so affected by this present of her ex-boyfriend, and then even tells Eda that she fits so well, so Eda and Serkan fit so well, and she wishes them well, blah blah blah, but she's so heartbroken because of her ex-boyfriend, blah blah blah. And that's when Eda is kind of softening up, but still very confused of this whole situation. And then she's like, oh my god, I was so wrong about Balcha. So she goes to Serkan's office and tells him, you won, I was wrong, Balcha is just being nice, she's still hung up on her ex-boyfriend, she's not interested in you. And he likes it. He likes it that now he can go with Eda to Paris. So then Eda tells him that it's Ayfer's birthday and that she has a surprise prepared for her. And then we see all of them at the skating ring. So Seyfi, Aydan, Melek, Fifi, Ceren, Ferit, Engin, Pırıl, Serkan. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then we see this whole montage and Serkan being so smooth, because Eda was trying to keep her balance and had her hand out, and then he came from behind her and took her hand, and I was like, oh my god, smooth Serkan. I love that scene so much. And after that, we see Eda and Serkan all alone on the ring, and then he tells her what he has planned for them in Paris. And then he confesses that he's never been there, because he promised to himself that he will go there with the woman he loves, and that's Eda. Because when I saw the trailer, I thought he was talking about the skating ring, and I was so confused, like, why would you only go to a skating ring with the woman you love? But okay, you do you. But now it makes more sense, because he was actually talking about Paris. And then he starts a little bit talking in French, and I was like, oh my god, Serkan. And then we see this foam snow flying around and then being really close and adorable, and I loved it. Thank god it lasted a little bit longer, like their closeness. I didn't mind that they didn't kiss. I mean, it would have been the cherry on top if they would have kissed, but I was okay with it. So while they're all skating, Balcha is actually going back to the company, putting the page that she took out back into the folder. And then the next day we see Serkan telling Ferit, go there and get the deal. So we see Ferit go out. After some time he comes back. At first he's faking that they lost, but they they actually want, so everybody is really excited. Then Serkan is explaining that he knows about the charges of the company they closed the deal with, but then Ferit says, well, we saw that and made some last minute changes and actually chose a different company. So Balcha is looking at Eda. Eda is really, you thought you can play with me. Then Balcha is congratulating Eda because it seems that Eda looked over the documents one more time, so they didn't make a mistake and now they're not working with the first company they chose. Leyla comes, tells Serkan that the new partner is here and wants to meet him. Serkan thinks that it's actually a man. Leyla says no, it's a woman. So the old lady comes in and then Eda is looking at the old lady is looking at Eda, and then Eda is saying grandma. Serkan is so confused. Wait, what? Your grandma? And that's the end. I mean, I was expecting it, but still I didn't like that we're left hanging that way. Thank God we got a trailer. So we see that the old lady is not looking for peace because she's teaming up with Balcha and wants to kind of get Eda away from Serkan. Then we also see Serkan questioning Eda, how can she not see her grandma's name in the documents while she was working with Efem? And then we hear the old lady wanting to set up Eda with a different man. And I also want to know who is Pırr's father. So I really do hope that he doesn't have any connection with the old lady. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what the old lady actually wants to do, who the old lady wants to set up Eda with, and what's her plan, because I have to say I actually wanted to see her against Altıkin, but that's not possible anymore. And yeah, I do think that she will fight against Aydan and Ayfer, and I do think that the old lady will manipulate or motivate Balcha to be even more evil towards Serkan and Eda, and maybe even sabotage the company. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I hope I said everything. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, I'm really sorry. If you still like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this amazing episode, what your thoughts are on Pırr's father and the old lady. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!